All right, let's get right into it. We've all gotten used to chatting with AI, right? But what if that conversation could be smarter, faster, and just way more efficient? Today, we're talking about a really fundamental shift in how we interact with AI agents. It's a change that goes way beyond just typing back and forth. This is about giving AI a whole new language, the language of user interfaces.
You know the feeling, right? You're trying to get something done with an AI assistant, and it just turns into the slow, painful game of 20 questions. Most of these chat-based agents, they respond with these big blocks of text, and it leads to all this back and forth. It's a frustration we've all felt, and it really points to a core problem. Text, by itself, is often a really clunky way for an AI to get the information it needs from you.
I mean, this comparison says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got that classic chatbot experience for booking a restaurant. It's a slow, step-by-step interrogation. But now, look at the right. A simple, clean user interface gets all that information in one single, efficient shot. The clarity is immediate. This isn't just a slightly better experience, it's a completely different and faster way to work with an AI. So this leads us to the really big question here, the one that kind of frames this whole solution. What if we could move past just having a conversation and into something more like a true collaboration? What if the AI had a better tool in its toolbox than just words? Exactly. This right here is the big idea. Instead of an AI having to narrate the whole process, okay, now tell me the time, now tell me the date, it could just instantly show you a purpose-built user interface. It stops being a narrator and becomes your collaborator, handing you the exact tool you need at the exact moment you need it. And that is where this comes in. Google has introduced an open-source answer to this very problem. It's called A2UI, which stands for Agent-to-User Interface, and honestly, the best way to think of it is as a kind of universal translator that lets any AI agent speak the language of UI. So, technically speaking, what is it? Well, A2UI is an open standard that allows an AI agent to describe an interface. Now, the real magic is in the process. The AI doesn't send over a chunk of HTML or some complex code. No, it just sends a simple JSON file, think of it as a blueprint, that describes the components it needs. Your app then reads that blueprint and builds the interface using its own native building blocks. This blueprint analogy really makes it all click. The AI agent, it's like the architect. It designs the blueprint. That blueprint is just a simple data file describing stuff like buttons, text fields, and forms. Your application, whether it's on your phone or in your browser, it acts as the construction crew. It takes that blueprint and builds the real thing using its own native bricks, like React or Swift UI. And the end result? A UI that looks and feels perfectly at home in the app you're already using. Okay, so we get what it is, but how does it work so darn well? Well, the design of A2I is built on 3 core pillars that make it secure, efficient, and incredibly flexible. So let's break them down. First, and this is absolutely the most important one, is security. I mean, when you're letting some remote AI start influencing your app's interface, you have to be 100% certain that it can't do anything malicious. A2UI was designed from the ground up with this top of mind. So here's how it locks everything down. The absolute key is that the AI sends declarative data, not executable code. Your app keeps a pre-approved catalog of safe UI components that it knows how to build. The AI agent can only ask for components from that approved list. It's a simple but incredibly powerful restriction that completely shuts down threats like UI injection or an AI trying to run some nasty script inside your application. The host app is always in control. The second principle is that the structure has to be easy for large language models to actually work with. I mean, if the format is too complicated for an AI to generate easily, then the whole system just falls apart. So A2UI is designed to kind of think like an LLM. The genius of this approach is how it's structured. Instead of some deeply nested, complicated tree of elements, which can be a real headache for models to manage, the UI is described as a simple, flat list of components. This makes it incredibly easy for an LLM to generate or even update the interface on the fly. And because it's so simple, it supports streaming. What that means for you is you get to see the interface build itself in real time instead of just staring at a loading spinner. It's just a way better experience. The third and final pillar is that A2UI is framework agnostic. Now, this is all about portability and reusability, which for any developers listening is a massive, massive win. And this is where the efficiency gain just becomes so obvious. A developer can build the AI agent's logic one time, and that very same A2UI blueprint can be rendered perfectly on every platform. It'll look native on a website using React, native on an iPhone using SwiftUI, and native on an Android device using Flutter. This means you don't have to rebuild your agent's core intelligence for every single version of your app. That's a huge deal.
So let's just put it all together real quick. Here's how the data flows. 1. You send a request. 2. The agent generates that A2UI JSON blueprint. 3. The blueprint streams to your app. 4. Your app's renderer builds the native UI from it. And 5. When you click a button, that action gets sent back to the agent as an event, which can then update the UI with a new blueprint. It's just this clean, continuous loop.
So, okay, we've gone through the technical bits, but let's zoom out for a second. Why does this matter so much? This is about more than just making better forms for booking a table. This whole approach has the potential to fundamentally change how complex AI systems are built and, more importantly, how they talk to us. This table really drives the point home. In the past, if you wanted to embed one service's UI inside another, you'd probably use something like an iframe. But those come with huge problems. There's security risk because you're literally running external code, they're slow and heavy, and they almost never match the look and feel of your app. A2UI solves all three of these problems in one go. It's safe, it's lightweight, and the result is a perfectly native, brand-consistent experience. As we start to wrap up here, the biggest takeaway isn't just A2UI itself, but the core philosophy that's behind it. The future of how we interact with AI is declarative. It's about shifting our thinking from having AIs send us instructions to having them send us structured, safe data that describes the outcome they want. If you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this quote. A2UI is a declarative data format, not executable code. That is the fundamental shift. It is the move from sending risky, unpredictable code to sending safe, structured blueprints. This is the key that unlocks secure, fast, and truly native AI-driven interfaces. And, this isn't some far-off, futuristic concept. A2UI is real, and it's available for developers to use right now. It's in public preview, version 0.8, and it's released under a friendly Apache 2.0 open-source license. So engineers who are building these kinds of agentic applications can start using this today to create these next-generation experiences. And so that leaves us with one final, and I think pretty provocative thought. We are entering a world where an AI can dynamically generate the perfect, most efficient user interface for any given task in real time. So, if the AI starts handling the how of the interface, it frees up human designers to focus on a much, much bigger question. What new and incredible experiences should we be building next?